4, 3, we've got smoke. 2, we've got ignition. 1, we've got RIP takeoff. Welcome to another edition of the Self-Love Show. We live, we in living color. Today's topic is what came first, bigotry or racism? The chicken or the egg? Like, share, subscribe, Chi-Town. You can start the show when you're ready. Big ups Inglewood.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Fair use, y'all.
Call this shit no block. It's 10 o'clock. Where the fuck y'all niggas at? This what y'all wanted me in Chicago? O block right here. I should call this shit no block. It's 10 o'clock. Where the fuck y'all niggas at? Niggas ain't outside. It's only 10 p.m. Where the fuck y'all niggas at, blood?
O block right now. Where we at? Tell you something, man. This Nino Brown, man. I'm live on O block right now. Where we at? This O block. I'm from Miami. I just want to tell niggas, man, we gotta stop killing each other, man. Yeah, this shit ain't about nothing. All that killing shit, we gotta work together, man. Stop killing each other, my nigga. I had to come over here and tell niggas that shit, my nigga.
I'm right here. See where I'm at. I'm out here. Black Star Line cigars. For grown man. On some grown man stuff. And to the PDs, stop doing that killing. Please, stop doing that killing. In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying all the way through the show to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be clear and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child, for said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self-Love Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
And even in this instance, if I could be a service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
Please like, share, subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Stop all that talking. Hush up. Yeah, buddy. Downtown kids are black. I'm just a kid from Chicago. Big up, Scooter. Self-love. Vision. I'm just a kid from Chicago. Welcome to Chi-Town's very own The Self-Love Show, where we got two mottos. Motto number 1 is on earth as it is in heaven. Praise to the Creator, the ancestors, my beloved Mama Sky. Motto number 2 is as above, so below. Right now, we can be found Malcolm exclusively right here on this YouTube channel. This ain't that. This ain't that network. Or as we say, TATN. This is one of your co-hosts, 9 Millie, also one of the selves. What down. Repeat after he. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. Third time for the charm. I am greater than my excuse. Today is Sunday, 3/5/2023 at about 2:18 p.m. at the Heezy. And as always, we're live and in living color, and we love to acknowledge that you beautiful souls can be any place in this magnificent universe and at any time. But thankfully, we all Scooter chose to be here together. Here together. What down, Chi-Town, what down, brother Wordsmith, what you manifesting today?
Love, now, you know me. I'm manifesting love. What you manifesting?
Ditto, G. Pure, unfiltered, unfettered. Some say, tough. Others say harsh, but love just the same, good brother.
No doubt.
So it's been going on in your neck of the Heezy since we connoitered last on The Self-Love Show.
Well, you know the weather in Chicago, it changes just like time. You wait 5 minutes, it'd be something different. So we had a mixture of snow and 50s. And we also had a election.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Mayor Light Blunt is no longer going to be mayor.
Burns, baby Burns.
Facts.
Yeah, Ace said that he said that his long-seated alderman got voted out of the ward.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. They moved my ward, bro. Last election I was in the 8th ward. Now I'm in the 7th ward, and the people right across Baldwin are in the 8th ward.
Yeah, well, they're doing all that gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering, redistricting, boy. That
It's all to keep control from the people.
facts.
And y'all, so what we got to expect. Oh, yeah, you saw Creed, huh?
I did.
It's an effeminate little movie, huh?
Uh,
They feminized Creed.
it was from a point of view, the angle that director chose.
Castration of the male
Well,
out there.
it wasn't all that, but it was just subtly. You see, like, huh?
Little jabs.
They
Little
didn't
jabs
really
at the
say much.
gonads.
The way they were, the angles that they showed. And did you see the photo shoot for it?
No.
Oh my God, the photo shoot that both those brothers did. Yeah, I know we're great friends, and they say they are great friends. I know we're great friends, and we would never ever take a picture like that.
I'll look it up when I get a chance here during the show. Wow. Interesting. One. All right.
I was sitting there thinking while it was going on, like, who directed this? Who directed it? I had to look it up during the movie.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan directed it.
No. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, that director, acting. Well, he acted a little bit, but not too good. But he doesn't direct anything. And Michael B. Jordan.
B. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what to expect today's show? We always kick it off with the Self-Love Show quote of the day, and then our More Growth and Development platform. That's what we stand upon. That's More Growth and Development. We have a short video we unpack entitled Tattoo Tyranny. Oh, yeah, we got something. Where we show our government out there breaking the laws. Sometimes they're not. And we decide if it's tyranny or if we agree with what took place out there. And then, of course, we have What If They Were Pink or Black? We'll show you something that happened out there. And then we'll decide, if it would have been different if you changed the race of that individual, which is our pro. For today's topic, what came first, the bigotry or the racism, the chicken or the egg? Huh? All right. That's what we're unpacking here today. But first, we got some announcements. Self-Love, you got anything out there?
Registration is open for house stock. Appreciate if y'all check it out and support. There's a short video in the chat, give you a better understanding of what's going to happen. But it is going to be epic. I also put the link straight to the website where you can register.
House stock, baby. House stock. Get in so you can win. Yeah. We're actually going to roll a video too during the break, so you guys check that out as well. Support, recycle your money, go out, have a good time, be with some like-minded folks out there. You know what I mean? And you never know, you might be able to make a couple of business deals out there.
Absolutely.
We win together, everyone. We win together. We hang separately. All right. My announcements, we're 32 subscribers away from the big skydive out there. That's when I'll and my lovely better half will register to skydive. And yeah, so first time for both of us. We'll see if it's going to be the last time. I'm going to videotape everything and play it right here on TATN. Yeah, you may or may not see me poop or piss my pants. We believe that fear is cap. It's all in your dome. So that's part of what this project is all about. The Self-Love Show is a movement. The Self-Love Show is a movement. Bellyman Boy said, what this about, good sirs? He says, I'm racism, yes, but specifically what? All right. I'm going to address that very shortly, but it's the question we're asking is what came first, the bigotry or the racism? We'll get you a history and a definition of both terms and some more stuff, but that's coming. And big ups, thanks for your support, Bellyman Boy. This is interactive. Please like, share, subscribe. If you got any questions or comments, drop them in the chat. We welcome such activity. But yeah, and then we have, I forgot, we wrap it up with Wordsmith's final words. That's at the end of the show. So you guys don't forget about that. But enough of my yapping. I'm going to turn this over for this brother to handle his business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Self-Love Show, where today we're unpacking what came first, bigotry or racism. As always, we have a very important video we want you to watch, the Silverback More Growth and Development platform, which we are building the Self-Love Nation. But before that, we have the Self-Love Show quote of the day. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. Once again, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Silence is violence.
Absolutely. Silverback More Growth and Development. Silverback More Growth and Development platform. Number one, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number two, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And three, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influence. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
Just stack that bread, save that bread, best that bread, repeat that.
Number 10, protect our women, children, and men by any and all means necessary.
Facts. That's number 10 on the platform. In case you guys missed this show last week, we unpacked the life of Joe Rilla, the Chicago Rilla. Big ups, huh?
Huge ups. Great show. A lot of information. Found out a lot about that brother. And man, yes, check it out.
Always nice to get a perspective from, Southsiders, guys from, that generation as well. He was very introspective.
Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me anymore.
No. He's up and coming artist, so just look out for him.
Facts. So if you didn't get a chance to check out that live, it is posted on TATN. It's the life of Joe Rilla, the Chicago Rilla. How much is that gorilla in the window?
Priceless.
Speaking of gorilla, because a lot of people don't like that term because it could be considered racist. Um, now it could be a Neanderthal out there. But what came first, the bigotry or the racism, is what we're breaking down. You guys, please like, share, subscribe. We'd love to hear for you guys to opine on this as well. And I forgot to say during my announcements, big ups to all the women out there, the womb men out there. Heritage, Women's Heritage Month. It's the month of March, so big
okay.
ups. Yeah. All right. So let's push forward. So we've got some tattoo tyranny. Maybe not. But did you see the video Pookie and the Oath Breaker? Yeah.
I pretty much stay unplugged, so don't think so.
Pookie and the Pig. Big ups to Inside Edition. Fair use.
New at 6, we're getting a look at body camera video from a controversial New Year's Eve encounter between LA County Sheriff's deputies and rapper Feezy LeBron.
You take off in this car, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna make it super easy on you. You put this car in drive, you're getting one right to the chest. I don't care what you got. I don't care if you got on you. But guess what, bro? Now you got to deal with it. But if you pull some, you're gonna take one to the chest.
Feezy was live streaming at the time and was already shared the audio on social media. He says that he was parked in a South LA strip mall with the engine off when deputies suddenly yanked open his car door, pointing pepper spray and a gun at him. The sheriff's department has opened an investigation into the deputies' actions and language. The sheriff says department personnel who do not uphold training standards will be held accountable. And after being detained, the rapper was only cited for a missing license plate.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe
Okay.
YouTube channel and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV.
That's
Almost a jumpy out there. He was double-breasted. He had the stick in one hand and the pepper spray in another. Just hit mute, fella.
Gunfire on the freeway, a man was pursued by police.
This thing wouldn't stop.
Yeah, always muted first and then horse around with the rest, because But yeah, so you got the rapper out there, something LeBron. I just call him Lil Pookie. He's out there, not too far from mine, and big ups to him. He didn't deserve that, in my opinion. But he's out here in my neck of the woods, sitting there chilling in the parking lot with no plates on the whip. 12 comes out there, his door's open. The guy's clearly got both his hands up, and 12 is saying, "I'll shoot you right in your chest out there."
Yeah, that was a thug. He was part of them sheriffs.
Oh yeah, LA County sheriffs.
Yeah, so he was one of them
trying to get another
members.
tattoo. Yeah,
gang members out there.
Yeah, they got to earn their tattoo. Like
And he was just missing one plate. He was missing probably the front plate.
That's a lot of pressure. 12.
That's crazy.
I keep my hands up. That's a lot of pressure out there. I'm shaky. You know what I mean?
Car wasn't even on. Talking about if you put it in drive.
And Lil LeBron, man, he right. And Lil LeBron, I thought he handled himself spectacularly.
Well, he's still alive.
Yeah. Only got charged with that. So really, like they didn't say he had a bunch of warrants or previous history with 12 where he's beating the crap out of him or anything of this nature.
Nathan.
Jumpy. Some of these 12s are jumpy. I mean, it looks like he was fearing for his life out there because there was a melanated young man sitting in the car all alone.
Yeah, well, melanin is our weapon.
All right, so
well, that's easy one. Gang members need to stop it.
All right, chat. Type a capital T if you think it's tyranny, or you can put a thumbs down in there. And if you like it, go ahead and thumbs it up. Thumbs it up and let everybody know that you like it. We'd love to hear your opinion. And you guys, please like, share, subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Today's topic is what came first, the bigotry or racism. We're going to get into a history of racism, its dirty origins, and where we are now. And then we'll answer that central question. Um, but what if they were black? That's our segment. What if they were melanated? Big ups to Inside Edition. Big ups to our crack production squad. This one's called Pink GTA. Pink Grand Theft Auto numero 1. Let's check it out.
Gunfire on the freeway. A man pursued by police opens fire on
Brown.
multiple
Brown
times.
GTA.
I'm Giovanna Lotta.
I'm Mark Brown. This pursuit across LA and Orange counties was among the most dangerous we have ever seen. It finally ended with this crash and the man under arrest. Let's go live now to our Jessica DeNova. Jessica.
Hey guys, we just arrived a few minutes ago here in Harbor City on the corner of 253rd Street and Western Avenue. I'm going to move away here so you can get a better look. You can see where this all ended here on the intersection there when that driver ran into a pole here. A lot of scary moments for this neighborhood. I'm hearing about people that were ducking for cover when they heard gunshots, when they saw all the
My nephew live out there.
making their way in. This all ended also right next to a school here where children were still here in daycare. Parents are now having to pick up their kids a different way, but have been assured that everyone is safe. Now this, like you can see, is a very active investigation. You want to avoid this area of 253rd and Western. We can take a look now from Air 7 where you can get a better look of the scene here, why you want to avoid this area right now. It's very active now. According to the Chino Police Department, this all started just before 2:30 on the intersection of Euclid Avenue and Kimball Avenue in Chino. Police got calls of a reckless driver. Chino PD pursued. We're told the suspect crashed into another car at one point but kept going. After the crash, police say they backed off, canceling the pursuit. Luckily, we're told there were no injuries to the other driver in that incident. Then in Corona, we saw the suspect bail out of the vehicle, run into a Shell gas station and carjack a truck. And of course, the chase was back on. The driver making his way through several freeways, at times driving the wrong way on streets and making his way through Orange County, then back up north to LA County. But of course, one of the wildest things we saw here was this suspect opened fire multiple times on officers. We're still waiting to hear whether anyone was hit. It doesn't appear to have been that way, but we're trying to get more details on that. It all ended here in Harbor City, again, where we saw the suspect try to squeeze by a patrol vehicle, and
then he rammed into 12. He's armed.
This pole.
Oh my God.
We were over by the laundromat in the shopping center.
Yeah.
And we heard the car come around and he started
You can kill it.
firing
I don't
weapon.
care what she's talking about.
What was it, an AR-14? It was
AR-14. Their son's like 15. So, yeah. So, he's literally busing an AR-15 at 12, shooting in the open public. He's armed and using it. He doesn't have a cell phone. Rammed 12 with the stolen video after he carjacked Pookie. You saw him ram 12 and then crash into the pole. Now, one thing I'm going to say this before you comment. This was in LA, we always got the helicopters out there filming everything, so maybe that could have something to do with this. But he's brown, he's not pink. But it's hard to tell when he's rolling around, But what's your commentary on this? Unpack that.
That was very interesting, because the commentator who was also brown was like, he slides by the cop's car. No, he crashed the cop's car.
She was burying the hell out of the leads. Go ahead. She was awful.
And then he smashed into the pole, and they just showed him running off. That they did show a little clip after they caught him. Yeah, they gave him the business.
Oh yeah, he went to the hospital.
Yeah.
Once they realized he wasn't pink.
Yeah, they gave him the business. And he's out there. Well, we'll just say, if he was our kind, he would be a dead man.
That's what. Small ups to 12 for not fearing for their life after getting busted at and rammed. I mean, he did get out and he wasn't armed, as far as they could tell, but the fact that they didn't shoot him up before he got out and all of that is interesting. And I'm not saying they should have. This is the way we say police work should be done, because they knew they were on the news. But I don't think the citizenry would have cared too much had somebody put a few hot ones in him.
Nope. They wouldn't have said anything.
Man, I saw a video when he carjacked the brother. They had him talking about what happened. My man demanded his keys. He's sitting there with an AR-15. Dude's like, no, I can't do that.
What?
Your car is that important? So then the suspect
busted
allegedly, he opened it and let off a couple rounds. Dude, it was the loudest thing I heard in my life. And then he gave everything up. Does it have to come to that? There's helicopters all around. There's a guy with an AR-15 asking for your truck.
They probably thought it was a Tonka toy or something. I don't know. People be robbing people with BB guns and, getting killed over it and stuff like that. So, yeah, you know what I mean? He probably thought, it's nice. It doesn't look real. Pow, pow, pow. Oh, here you go.
That's exactly what happened. He is lucky to be alive, man.
Yes. Dude didn't want a murder charge on top of everything he was doing. So,
yeah, I'm sitting here with an AR-15 and you won't give me your keys, man? Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
All right, so we both agree that it would have been different, we think, if that was some sort of melanated, clearly African-American. Yes. We'd be having a different conversation today.
So-called African-American, yeah.
Yeah, so-called. All right, and so you guys like, share, subscribe. Today's topic is what came first, the bigotry or the racism, the chicken or the egg, so to speak. We're going to jump to today's riddle, which is a dome teaser. Your mind is an awful thing to waste. We believe your brain is literally a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Just like your heart, your guns, anything else. So here we go. And if you guys know the response, if you can know the key in the chat, go ahead and type it in there before the end of the show. If you guys don't figure it out, Self-Love normally figures these out, but if he doesn't, then I'll go ahead and give you the key at the very near the end of the show. So, riddle. 2 fathers and 2 sons are in a car, yet there are only 3 people in the car. How?
Did we do this one before?
It's possible. 2 fathers and 2 sons are in a car, yet there are only 3 people in the car. How is this possible?
Yeah.
Self-Love feels like we've done this one before. He hasn't typed anything in the chat. He does have a thumbs up. If you guys think you're smart enough, you can process information. You definitely, I guess it's right. It's not the exact wording, but definitely type it in the chat. We'll do our very best not to embarrass you based upon your responses. Enough of the appetizers out there.
Let's quench the Self-Love Nation's thirst.
All right, y'all. Go ahead, production, and do your thing. And Bellyman Boy, I'm going to give you a breakdown of what's coming on the show today. Long form podcast. Next week will be guest free.
But as you know, the Bible is written in symbols and parables, and this serpent or snake is a symbol that's used to hide the real identity of the one whom that actually was. But who was it? The white man.
But what we're breaking down next week, you guys, on the Self-Love Show, That's at 2 p.m. Chicago time on Sunday, always live. What came first, self-love, the bigotry or the racism?
I haven't said that Darwin is a charlatan. I didn't say that. What I did say...
That was my word, not yours.
That was your word. And I don't think he was a charlatan, and I think he was a very great naturalist. I mean,
We don't know what's in his
probably
heart.
the greatest naturalist since Pliny.
But,
I do think some of his ideas, particularly the idea when transferred into what's called social Darwinism, of the survival of the fittest, has had a disastrous history. I know you write about this sometimes, Simon, in The Guardian, and you defend him. He was profoundly racist.
From a historical context and metaphysical context.
He teaches us that the black man by nature is divine. Now, does this mean that the white man by nature is evil? By nature, he is other than divine. Well, now, does this mean that he's evil? Can he do good? By nature, he is evil. He cannot do good. History is best qualified to reward all research, and we don't have any historic example where we have found that they collectively, as a people, have done good.
That's our question. All right, Chi-Town, if you can reduce volume, please. The prejudice or the racism, which we know is... Appreciate you. So what we're going to unpack today is a brief historical origin of racism, science and racism. We're going to define racism and bigotry. We're going to talk about, is racism and bigotry, is it a disease? Is it contagious? Margaret Sanger, Charles Darwin, they're in the crosshairs. We're going to talk about racism's effects on the health, the economy, and education. So that's what we on today. And you can kill that. I tell you what, the late great Malcolm X, he wasn't biting his tongue for nobody. I mean, you had that booger in the background, but can the white man be good? Are any of them good? You know.
They had locked him up, so he had been locked up, so he wasn't afraid of that or anything of the sort. So, yeah.
And he had a whole nation behind him too.
Yeah, he wasn't playing.
No,
he was not playing at all.
All right, self-love in the chat. What is racism? Because I know a lot of people, you know, I'll say something, you racist. I just wanted Will Smith from right there. You know what I mean?
Well, systematically excluding people from things, from jobs, from good health, from good education. It's a system, and it is in the people's heart, a lot of them.
So I noticed you're staying on system, and I agree. It's a system of control, which would suggest that, you know, you'd have to be in the controlling group.
In control, yes.
Correct. So if someone, is just might have some prejudices, that person may or may not be a racist. Now,
facts.
Racism is defined discrimination by an individual, community, or institution against a people or person on the basis of membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. I'm going to go to Merriam's. A belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce inherent superiority of a particular race. This is according to Webster's. Behavior or attitudes that reflect and foster this belief, racial discrimination or prejudice. And their second definition of racism is what we believe is the first definition, which is the systematic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of the controlling group. So I'd say your definition was right on point, my brother. Yes, sir. Now, so let's go ahead and define bigotry. What is prejudice or bigotry?
It's a pre-notion of somebody because of their skin color or a group that they belong to.
So you see a black guy and you're like, oh, he's lazy, he don't have a job, he's
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
his 5 baby mamas on welfare.
He's a
and
low
not paying child
IQ,
support.
and you're right. He don't do nothing he's supposed to do.
Okay.
Low, dumb, subhuman.
Well, okay. So I'm probably getting ahead of myself a little bit here. My question is, well, we'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. What do we know about, first off, like, share, subscribe, you guys. What do we know about the great genius anthropologist, Charles Darwin? And you don't know what was in his heart. You didn't live with him.
Yeah, he was a complete racist, and they always leave out the whole title to his book. And it's pseudoscience, his whole thing.
Was it the origin of species or some crap?
Origins of species and the favorite races.
Yes, you're talking about, so they leave out that second part.
Yes. And it was a pseudoscience.
Yeah, they draw pictures and measure the craniums of, and talk about the convolutions in the brains and things of that nature.
Yeah. And he also was kin to Frederick Galton, who had the out of Africa theory. It's crazy how they
But according to Malcolm X, black folks were already doing science and teaching people how to bathe and how to do, with the sewer system and irrigation, and stars and astronomy. Yeah,
racism has completely lightened the skin of the people who did those things in Egypt. So they are just made up stuff.
So you're saying racism did that and not bigotry? Well, just, we don't want to go too far in it because we're saving that question for the end. But
at this point, it's racism, but bigotry could have. Well, I would say racism because that allowed them to change it and teach it to everybody that it's different than it is. That had to have some sort of control to be able to do that. Because they didn't always teach that. It wasn't always taught.
Couldn't be taught. Like in those earlier generations, people knew who were doing the science and the mathematics and the philosophical thoughts. And you know what I'm trying to say? It's tough to be. Yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to touch on, or if we can unpack, the origins of racism. Like, when did this start? Was it during the Renaissance, the so-called Enlightenment?
I personally think it happened during the Dark Ages. Because they burned all the books and knowledge to an extent, and then rewrote it with them in it. With them rewriting with them in it is the Renaissance. instead of us removing us from the times and injecting themselves.
So it'd be like if melanated people took control, and then I can't think of the name of that movie, but frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. You know, it was all a racist film, and we put all the black people in the position of the white folks. Yeah. And then start showing that movie that way to all of the next generations.
Yeah, and start saying that it was all the white people built the pyramids and all of the, you know what I mean, and be like that. Yeah.
Or all the black people had the slave ships, and you know what I mean, in this scenario.
Yeah.
So I just want to kind of hit on some of this. According to PBS, racism exists when one ethnic group or historical collectivity dominates, excludes, or seeks to eliminate another on the basis of differences that it believes are hereditary and unalterable. An ideological basis for explicit racism came to a unique fruition in the West during the modern period. No clear and unequivocal evidence of racism has been found in other cultures or in Europe before the Middle Ages. The identification of the Jews with the devil and witchcraft, and we know who the Jews are. Ask Kyrie if you don't know. The identification of the Jews with the devil and witchcraft in the popular mind of the 13th to 14th centuries was perhaps the first signs of a racist view of the world. Official sanction for such attitudes came in the 16th century, Spain, when Jews who had converted to Christianity and their descendants became the victims of a pattern of discrimination, of exclusion. The period of the Renaissance and Reformation was also the time when Europeans were coming into increasing contact with people of darker pigmentation in Africa, Asia, and the Americas, and were making judgments about them. The official rationale for enslaving Africans was that they were heathens, but slave traders and slave owners sometimes interpreted a passage in the book of Genesis as their jurisdiction. Ham, they maintained, committed a sin against his father Noah that condemned, Noah was black, that condemned his supposedly black descendants to be servants unto servants. When Virginia decreed in 1667 that converted slaves could be kept in bondage, not because they were actual heathens, but because they had heathen ancestry, the justification for black servitude was thus changed from religious status to something approaching race. Beginning in the late 17th century, laws were also passed in English North America forbidding marriage between whites, between pinks and melanated, and discriminating against the mixed offspring, your mulattoes out there, of informal liaisons. Without clearly saying so, such laws implied that blacks were unalterably alien and inferior. Alien, huh, Self? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So different than them that we're alien, a different species. Which I kind of agree with, but you know, leave that for another show.
Oh yeah, no, I feel that. I think our last guest even commented on that. You know, when we asked, if he's ever seen an alien, and we've unpacked it on the show. But that was interesting. That's according to PBS. You take it with a grain of salt, but thought that was a pretty thorough investigation.
Yeah, a lot of truth in there.
And you know, the catholics, those popes, because there were a lot of popes who were melanated.
Yes.
But it came a time when all this was going on, somebody got paid off to push that through to the people through the bigotry through the religious system.
Yeah, change all of the the portraits of the Christ to somebody else.
Yeah. Yahusha. Because if you were young at that time, there with the churches, there was no TV. People didn't have books. A lot of them couldn't read. We're talking about the Europeans. We're not talking about black folks. But
shit, a lot of the times, black folks were the Europeans too. Them people came out of where they came from later and got in those positions.
The gypsies.
They weren't always they were from the Caucasus, and then they
Caucasus Mountains.
Yeah, because even the gypsies were of color of sorts. They weren't those people.
Yeah, so we can agree that at minimum, history has been adulterated.
His story. That's what it's called.
But so let me ask you though.
Come from the winners and the people who control things. All of his story comes from the people who win or control everything. So, is it true? They don't generally write what happened. They write what they want you to think they happened.
Well, bro, well said. But there was a lot of magic. I'm just saying, when you were being educated at the grade school level and they started teaching you about world history and the Renaissance and the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages, nobody said that the people who were illiterate were pink, and there were people in the world who were not in the Dark Ages, and there were people in this world who brought those people out of the Dark Ages. Like, none of that was, they didn't say that this was the time when racism started. I didn't get any of that. And I went to the so-called smartest public school in the city of Chicago.
And I went to, various schools, Montessori schools. And no, because they're not going to teach you that, because that's not what is in his story. Because his perspective is from the person that was taught. They don't give credit. They don't give credit. And they're not saying, we were taught this, like a lot of indigenous people will tell you.
They'll tell you our forefathers or our ancestors.
Yes, this is what we learned through this. Not we created this. Father of philosophy.
Right.
And we taught it all.
We came out. We were in the Dark Ages, and then boom.
And what's even crazy,
we brought ourselves.
Is the people they're talking about were probably melanated. The people that they hold up, the Aristotles and Socrates and all.
Correct. That. Well, they were the melanated ones that came over there and brought them out of the Dark Ages.
Yeah, that's who they say is the father of, and they all studied where they studied. We're just saying they were melanated though, because what these pink people have done has unlogically wrote themselves into the beginning of time, and they had stated that they was the first race. And all the evidence said otherwise. And that's what they've been doing. They've appropriated themselves back to Adam.
Right. They were the Adam and Eve.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember I told the story. I worked with a pink girl, and we were having this talk on the floor in the office. And I was like, so you're a Christian, right? Yeah. And you're smart. You know science, right? Yeah. And so the oldest remains and everything's been proven to, be in Africa, which could be in America. Yes, I agree with all of that. That's what she said. And then I said, so Adam and Eve were black. And she turned pink. She got so upset at the premise. The whole people were around. There's a lot of melanated people who worked with me. Start paying attention. It was quiet. And I said again, so Adam, it would follow that Adam and Eve were black. And finally she contorted, that was a different Adam and Eve. That was how she was able to work that out in her dome. So, you see how you're laughing? Everybody started laughing, bro. Everybody started laughing, bro.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's what we're up against here out there. That's what we're up against.
Yeah, they have no idea.
And it's programming.
Yes, it's programming. It's
You know,
racism.
I'm providing an upgrade. You know what I mean? And you know,
Oh no.
I'm not taking that. Yeah.
Cognitive dissonance. She was like, wait a minute, that's gotta be a different Adam and Eve.
Yeah, you started working it out in her mind, the wheels was turning. That was a different. And I just left it there. You know, I could have gone into you sound retarded. I could have gone into that. You know how we get down, but
yeah. Man.
I had gotten it far enough. You're smart. You know science. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You agree with evolution. You know, I like to use their wit against the lack thereof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
It's complete psychobabble. Complete psychobabble.
Yes, y'all. Y'all know what this means.
How's the volume?
Turn it up a little bit. All right.
Better?
Yes. Yep. It's good. Y'all know what it is. The Self-Love Show. What came first, bigotry or racism? We digged into the past and what they claim is the definitions. And the second half, we're going to expand the conversation and explore what came first, bigotry or racism.
House stock, y'all. Go ahead, bro.
Nice video for you to check out. And remember, registration is open. Early bird gets the word.
But this is a question we've asked every guest that's sat on this platform. What advice, looking back, and I know many of us, our knee-jerk reaction is to say, I wouldn't change a thing. So not asking you to change a thing, but what advice or bit of information, if you could time travel and you saw 9-year-old Ernest Thomas, pardon me, sir. You saw 9-year-old Ernest Thomas, wandering around Gary, maybe going to the corner store, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh man. I would say, kid, it's rough right now, but you do know God, you do know Christ. And you're gonna have to believe in him like your life depended on it. You have to believe in him in God more than breath right now, than the breath you breathe, because you got the black kids at your school bullying you. You go to the South, you got the white, you got to say yes sir, no sir to the white kids. And with Emmett Till being killed and that photo in Jet magazine, my folks made sure that I said yes sir, no sir to white kids, whoever. So I gotta go to school, to all black school, and you can't be smart. You can't talk like the teacher because you're trying to be white. All right. You got hand-me-down clothes, right? So they call me nappy head, they call me monkey, things you would think you would get from a white school. This is black school, right? And they are taking your lunch money. I'm skinny. I'm a skinny little kid, right? And I started playing hooky. So I would tell, it was a lot of stress because they're like, will this ever end? Yeah, thank God I believed in Jesus Christ because I needed him, but still in the flesh, being human, you know, knowing you got to go to school the next day, and those same people, right? And that silent majority that laughs with the bully, they ain't gonna take up for you. They ain't gonna say this ain't right, you know, because just one or two bullies, it's not. But the silent majority, they are the worst in any age. But I would tell that young kid, man, just hold on to Jesus with a death grip, you know, because it's gonna get better. You will win. Then that will be, you're going to win.
We've got one who can see.
And you won't remember those bullies, but they're gonna know your name.
Well, Noop, one of our credos around here is silence is violence. And the reason we say that is because, you know, if you see something, say something, you know. And we fancied ourselves kind of, you know, the anti-bullies. So from the outside looking in, someone would say, oh, look at those guys, you know, they're fighting or they're doing this and they're doing that. And no, we were the ones who would say something. And then when you say something, you put yourself in that line of fire and you have to be ready to do something quite frequently.
Hey bros, what's going on? This is Katana. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
Are you ready for the ultimate glamping weekend experience? Well, wait no further because House Stock is here. What is House Stock? House Stock is a musical and spirit elevating experience. House Stock embodies the relevance of cultural music from around the world. House Stock is all about the spiritual connection music has all over the globe. So come join us for a testament of love and unity via music. House Stock. House Stock will feature the best DJs the Midwest has to offer. Genres include deep house, soulful house, Afro house, techno, progressive, and of course, the classic house sound. Need more? House Stock vendors, memorabilia vendors are all deep. A VIP area for glamping, so pack up that tent and come glamp with us. Where, you may ask? 2729 Wildwood, and that's in Pembroke Township, Illinois. Tickets are available at www.house.
I'm glamping, I'm called glamping. We added to our house music series. So
yeah, we can. I mean, you know, it's me, Wakil, and Creeper. That's
okay.
That's, you know, Midwest festivals, House Stock.
All right, yeah. Put that together, and we'll let y'all know if we can make that happen, and we'll get you a date, and we'll make a promo video accordingly. What do we know about Margaret Sanger? What's in Margaret Sanger's heart out there?
She's a racist devil.
I mean, you don't know what was in her heart out there?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. And never met her and all of that, but from what she wrote and what she did and how she moved. Yeah.
Well, she was because we kind of covered this. She was the thought behind Planned Parenthood out there.
Yeah.
And the eugenics.
Yeah, the eugenics institution, Planned
Correct.
Parenthood.
So the theory, YouTube, is that they were, you know, the abortion in many cases was really targeted at the melanated. And she actually said that what she said at the time is that black folks are so spiritual, meaning the Hebrews or whatever, that they won't go for this. But then she said, unless we use their own what?
Preachers.
Doctors. Yeah. Doctors and preachers.
Yeah. It really was the preachers.
And the doctors.
She also said that the worst sin ever committed is bringing a melanated baby into the world.
Yeah, but you don't know what's in our heart.
Yeah, and that told me everything I needed to know.
I mean, she's never come out and said, I am a racist. You know what I mean?
I think she has, actually. Some of the writings that I've read, yeah. But I don't know if she used the exact term racist.
Yeah, you have to use those exact terms for certain people too. For the silent majority.
I don't know if it was the exact term, but we need to exterminate all of the others and all of that, and you know.
The silent majority here needs to hear you say, I hate N-words and I want to kill them all. That's what the silent majority typically,
they might hear I hate the N-words, though. That might have came out there in her writings.
All right. Small ups to the Sanger family and her descendants and everything.
No ups to the Sangers or Planned Parenthood.
All right, we got a no ups out there. All right. The economics, though, we talk about closing the financial gap between us and pinks and whites and non-melanated. Is racism a tool that affects the economic profiles out there?
Absolutely. I mean, we make less than white males, period.
And
have
do
the same
more.
job. Yeah, we could have better education, more experience, and get paid less than someone could have a master's degree and get paid less. Yes, get paid less than they get paid less than someone with a high school degree.
Yeah, I mean, we had a guest, but YouTube deleted it.
Yes.
She worked for Monsanto.
Yeah.
And had 2 degrees, agriculture and then another degree.
Yeah.
And come to find out that the high school pink boy, the one with the high school diploma out there, was getting paid significantly more than her.
Yeah.
And was doing absolutely what?
Nothing.
Well, I mean, he slick his hair down. You know, it's good looking blonde hair.
Show up and go to meetings.
Yeah. Drinking some Starbucks out there.
Then be like, yeah, well, what do you think?
oh man. Small ups to Monsanto.
No ups. Fuck
so
you,
Monsanto. Easy. So I would agree. I would agree, though, that if I was creating a racist system, economics would be, if not at the top, near the top of my platform in order to control. I mean, we literally worked for free for hundreds of years. So if that doesn't tell you about a head start certain people have,
and then those same people that had you working, they had the head start. They got another head start because they got paid for you to be free or so-called free. They got some reparations.
Well, do you think the silent majority was asking, well, who's going to pay for these reparations at that time?
I know they absolutely did not care where the money came from. They just wanted it in their pocket.
Cut the what?
Crap.
And cut the who?
Check.
Right. Reparations. I agree. So if you guys haven't read Medical Apartheid out there, how do you think racism affects, and I'll start it out, healthcare? Again, I would think that this would be high on my list if I was creating a platform to be a racist SOB. you'd want to eradicate the dominant gene as much as possible. If you can control a man's mind, you can get that man to put a bullet to his own head. We've done shows in our Black healthcare series talking about hypertension, talking about the white sugars and the white salts, things of this nature. Since our economics tends to be below the white majority, many of us don't have the healthcare plans. Many of us don't trust doctors. So, you can look at it, strokes, heart attacks, things of that nature is affecting our people. And this is by design.
Facts. And a lot more. It's our women die at a much higher rate during childbirth. We are all considered to have less pain than anyone else. They've trained that in, that when you're asking for pain relief, that you just want drugs. It's medically, it's written in their books that we can take more pain.
And we were literally guinea pigs.
Oh, yes. Literally, they did all kinds of tests and trials on us without anesthesia. During our time as prisoners of war.
Prisoners of war, chattel slavery, so-called. Also, when they were colonizing and taking over places where you had your indigenous populations, they brought a crap load of sugars and salts and added it to these people's diets. These people were living to be, 120, 130 years old like it was nothing. And then all of a sudden they had to pooch, the belly. Yeah, older. Then all of a sudden they had the belly and, the gut because, your body's not supposed to be able to process all of that extra sugar.
Well, processed sugar, our body doesn't really process. It just surrounds it and makes fatty gut.
Yeah.
Especially high fructose corn syrup. That
correct. And studies have shown, though, that the way it affects, maybe it has something to do with the melanin, but, it affects us. That's the way, you remember we were at college and those pink people could drink all night, drink up all that sugars, and they'd be up at their 8 a.m. class with their beautiful blonde hair all slicked back with the grease in it. You know what I mean? Sitting in class, the males and the females. I'd be asleep, can't even hear my alarm the next day. You know what I'm saying is their body's supposedly able to process those poisons because they might have been using that when they were in the Caucasus Mountains, as part of their diet.
It's part of their DNA. They come from they evolve from. Maybe we shouldn't say that now. We got everything going good on YouTube out there.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. We're strike free.
Yeah, they are developed and created
allegedly,
allegedly,
some people say
from different animals, and some of them are animals that are they get rid of stuff and are able to digest and do things that other species can't.
Oh, I see your point. So maybe your typical primate can't process a hamburger, right? And maybe there was a strain of early man that could process it, like the way your carnivorous beasts, their bodies is made to process that, and they sleep all day. You know what I mean? And maybe the melanated's body wasn't.
Yeah,
Potential.
like the so-called great apes are vegetarians, but they still get bulk and beefed
Hell
up.
yeah.
And like pigs were created to eat anything, you know, really dead bodies and for war.
Yeah, they're scavengers. They're yes.
More than scavenger. That's their role. And
Yeah.
yeah. Some
Yeah.
of that has been in there. And rats, similar.
Yeah, the pig helped stop some of the plagues and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because they could process
Nonsense.
that stuff that can't, you know, I don't know if it really should be processed. It's by our kind.
All right. What came first, y'all? The bigotry or the racism? We want to hear from you guys. Let us know. Put a capital B if you think the bigot came first, or a capital R if you think the racist was first. You know, the chicken or the egg. Education self. We kind of touched on it. The great Lauryn Hill wrote one of the greatest albums ever across any genre, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. She was on to something. Of course, she's been pink balled. What about it? How do you say, or how important is the education, the programming, to keep the racism afloat out here?
It's essential. Without the programming, you don't have all of what we know coming from the government. Our families used to put the programming in, used to make sure we knew what we needed to know. And even when they developed schools, it was still our people in charge of what you needed to know. And just for the record, I found a test to graduate from 8th grade from the 1800s, late 1800s. That was extremely difficult. Far, far, far more advanced than this so-called education that's given out now. And I will say this so-called education is indoctrination into being an employee. And it's no, rule that the same person that decided the education route also decided the medical route, and that's the Rockefellers.
You talking about Damon Dash and Jacob?
No. Well, they got their own. Well, one of them got their own issue, but I'm talking about the who they named their stuff after. One that decided what went into teaching medicine in colleges, and the same person who decided what you taught in grammar school through high school to be good employees.
Yeah. So the computer, and I said this back in the 90s, before the internet, and I know I said it to you. You know, the computer is based off of the human mind. And that's why they're getting all this data. We get on the internet, we talk about our mind, and A1 is just going to, AI is looking to, they can
learn.
Yes, the human mind, and they'll know one thought. That being said, so your mind, if it's like a computer, When you're in theta, even afterwards, part of this education system, you're being programmed all of this information. You know, your mind was a clean slate, but then you get programmed this information. You have to memorize it. So all of this is now going up in your mind's cloud. We're a solution-based podcast. So that's been programmed in us. A lot of miseducation, a lot of lies.
And the cloud is your subconscious.
Correct. A lot of lies with buried, with nuggets of truth, you know, woven into the lies. It's like a pig in a blanket. So were you to, you know, you take your computer, when you have your computer, your desktop, you know, even your iPhone or your whatever, you know, if you don't use it, your phone or your computer goes into sleep mode. Sleep mode. So when you go to sleep, you're merely going into sleep mode so that your mind doesn't overheat. That's what sleep does. So if all you're doing is like you're just going into sleep mode. However, there are going to be times when you need to reboot your computer. They tell you to do that at least once a week so you can get all the updates. And so to reprogram yourself, you're going to have to get into what's called meditation. Meditation is what it first does is deprograms a lot of the programming that you've had. You've got to meditate consistently on a daily basis. It's the way that you clean, you're clearing the cache. Cache rules everything around me. You're clearing the cache of the mind. Everything that's been programmed into you, that's done through meditation. Now, how are you going to get the new uploads? That's going to be through prayer. What I'm telling you, these words of flesh. Prayer. So you can't program a computer with a bunch of new stuff without first clearing the cache. At some point, the computer is going to shut down on you, and that's your mind. So I'm just giving you guys a tidbit on the key to deprogram the lies. You're going to do that through meditation. You're going to see a lot. You're going to learn a lot. And then when you pray, you're literally uploading new information into your mind. And that's the solution for the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Big ups to Lauryn Hill. It's Women's Heritage Month here. Today's topic, you got anything to say about this stuff before I move forward?
No, you pretty much hit it on the head.
All right, y'all. What came first, the bigotry or the racism? Now, this is what I was asking when I was jumping ahead of myself earlier. Can a melanated person, can be racist in America?
Well, not be one, but people that share our skin tone, there is, that identify with the dominant culture and show racist qualities and ways. Now, B1 can't be racist towards the structure or system, but there are people that are all skin folk and kinfolk who operate full-heartedly in
but if they're not, if they're not the control, if they're not running it, how could it be racist?
Because they follow silence is violence, and they follow the rules, and they go with the dominant culture.
Well, I think a lot of that, what you're saying, because a lot of those folks were colonized by Portugal and Spain, and they get away with a lot of their evil. You know, we're able to point the finger at Great Britain and, you know, those imperialists. But yeah, Spain was awful, and Portugal was awful. And there's a lot of those so-called Arab people were awful.
Yeah.
To your
And
point.
some of those people were melanated.
Yeah.
And that's them, it's where they're from, but yeah, they were melanated themselves.
But specifically regarding as it pertains to B1, let's say I own a company. I'm the CEO and the founder, and I'm not hiring pink folks. Would that not be racist? I mean, I'm in control.
No, because it's not as far as a whole dominant culture of the whole situation. Like, no one says Asians who don't hire anybody but Asians are racist. You know what I mean? They don't say that. They don't say Hispanic people who only hire Hispanic, whole companies Hispanic. They don't say anything about them being racist. So, no.
Can we be prejudiced?
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not hiring any Hispanics, any Asians. They're more qualified, but I'm hire Pookie.
You
who's
can
less
be
qualified,
prejudiced.
and then pay
Yeah.
Pookie more.
We can prejudge. Yeah.
Can we prejudge pink people?
We can anybody can prejudge. Anybody can be prejudiced.
But this
racism digs into the control of the system, the benefit from that. Like,
so was Malcolm X prejudiced?
Yes.
Malcolm X was prejudiced.
Yes. Until he came back from Mecca.
I'm gonna push back on that because
you can't say all white people are devils or all white people are evil without prejudging and not taking anybody on individual merit. You can't have it both ways. That's prejudging.
But is it prejudging when history has shown us?
It's still prejudging because you come into an encounter with a new individual. And what we do know is all of us are different. And we all have reason to be here.
Okay. I got you. I'm just going down this rabbit hole. We've done histories, we've done shows on, all of the towns that have been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
The chattel slavery, prisons of war, the stuff that's still going on today. Would I not be irresponsible if 67% of white folks look at me as a subhuman? Would it not be irresponsible for me not to prejudge these people?
Not at all. Prejudice, I don't think, is all that bad. I think it's a protective covenant,
defense mechanism.
Even if it's from the wrong perspective, it is something that's kind of natural. Like, oh shit, everything I heard about these motherfuckers is, so I need to watch these people. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad at all.
So I'm not saying, because I've gone to, grade school, high school, college. I've worked with non-melanated people. I've met some good ones, so I know where you're coming from, but for me, they have to show me what's in their heart. They have to earn their trust for me. So I guess you're going to color me prejudice.
I color myself in the same form and fashion. So, I see most people, the people that talking about they don't see
prejudgment.
Yeah. It's prejudgment on your information about them as a whole, not as individuals.
And that's what Malcolm was saying.
Yes. Yes. Not as individuals, but as a whole. So you prejudge every individual till they showed otherwise. It's natural.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's healthy. I mean, for people that want to maintain their safety.
I got you. I got you. All right. So this brings us to today's $1 million question. We've defined bigotry. We've defined racism. We think we know about the time that the racist policies started rearing their ugly heads. What came first, bro? The bigot who sat there and wrote up these racist policies, or the racist?
Well, I'm going to 100% have to say that it was the bigotry, because it was people who decided what they didn't like that made a system of racism.
Interesting. All right. Well, we're 50-50 on this. I'm going to have to hear from the chat.
And it's opposite of what I said.
I know. We went down this rabbit hole. And then, so I say that the racism, because I feel like bigotry is unnatural. And I feel like, to your point earlier, when you said it's about control, politics, money, whatever, I feel like this system, this capitalist system, this westernized system, for it to work, poverty and greed fuels capitalism. Poverty and greed.
That's capitalism, period.
Correct. So, I say, poverty is the gas, and greed is the gas, and poverty is the oil. The reason I say racism is that, kids playing in the sandbox, they're not racist. They're just playing with the other kid. They don't even know what color this kid is or not. I think that this is just my thought. Then I'll throw it back to you. The people who sat down and created this racist agenda, could have been a bigot in there. Don't get me wrong. For some reason, maybe somebody black slept with his wife or something. but I'm saying racism. The people who sat down and started talking to the powers that be and talking to the rich people and started talking to, the Pope and all them, I think they were more after greed and control. And so they settled in on bigotry, if that made sense.
I hear what you're saying, but I just see that bigotry accumulated amongst the power that the people had, and they said we can decide what we want to do, and they decided to exclude everybody that wasn't like them. That's how they came to that conclusion.
If I'm starting a gang set and we're all in one community, I'm doing that. If I'm not doing it to secure the neighborhood, if I'm not doing it for, good, positive social, cultural reasons, if I'm doing it to push poison and stuff my bag full of money, I don't know if I would already necessarily hate those guys in the next neighborhood to now get all the young ones and the shorties to start attending service or meetings or what have you and saying, hey, we hate those guys. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm still feeling that bigotry was just a necessary evil, to perpetuate the racist policies and the greed. So they started to have to start teaching bigotry to their kids and in the schools. Because
I can see that.
Yeah.
But once they decided it was based on race, though, that I don't completely agree because if we all look alike and we decide that they're not good for business because, you know, they ain't agreeing with us, that's one thing. But if we all agree that they look different than us and we can tell everything apart because they're different, we could separate the whole game, period, and we can just work with us. It's very, very similar, but it's a homogeneous population versus diverse. It separates to me a little.
So you feel like there was a bunch of bigots for whatever reason got together and started coming up with ways to control the resources and everything through racism.
These people were bigots and they had control of the resources. That they had control of a lot of stuff. So that, you know, changed bigot to racist.
What would make them bigots?
Deciding that they look like that, they're inferior.
No,
they're not on that.
But what would make them decide that?
Probably the gaining
without
of resources.
Without any programming.
Probably gaining of resources or what have you. It was the thin line between what you're saying and what I'm saying. But I'm saying they were bigots and they made racist policies, and you're saying the racist policies made the bigotry.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying because to be a bigot, you have to hate someone based upon the color of their skin. You have to think that they're subhuman to be a bigot. And so I'm asking, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm asking for a bunch of bigots to get together and start creating racist policies for the point of greed. What made them bigots in the first place? See, I think racism birthed bigotry.
That's what I felt until racism is it's a system. It's systematic. It's a system. I think bigotry built racism. I think they different, they subhuman. We can exclude them and let's keep doing what we do.
Okay, so
we're in control and we can make all the rules and we can just exclude them.
But what made them decide that people were subhuman? Where'd they get that in their heart?
The Bible and what they were taught, and from the prisoner of war situation they call slavery.
So you know how we say, like, when did this person jump off the porch and start, doing
and Darwin and all of that. It's a long process.
But Darwin
said we were subhuman.
Correct, but he was part of the racist agenda.
He was a bigot.
So he just rolled out of bed one day and said these people are subhuman.
No, he already thought that, and then he created a pseudoscience.
All right, well, he already thought that. Means at some point he rolled out of bed and thought that. Or what I'm saying is,
by the time he came around, it was after slavery. It was already after slavery when Darwin came around. So a lot of opinions were being based on that.
Indoctrinated. But
yes,
there was millions of years of humanity not being bigoted towards one another, not being prejudiced.
Yeah,
just like kids in the sandbox.
The pink people weren't here for that.
I see. Well, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, rest her soul, she, in the ISIS papers, she contorted that they were exiled from Africa as albinos, and that's where they harbored a lot of hatred, towards their mothers and fathers, towards the people who birthed them, which could be the origin of bigotry. in your scenario, which
That
led to
was
racism.
that was her conjecture.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I completely agree. Is that for the basis of?
Well, at least
the
it's an
pink
answer,
people?
because I'm just saying, who rolled out of bed and decided that black people and people of color were subhuman when all the kids in Theta and all the kids in the sandbox are not having that?
Dark Ages to the Renaissance and Renaissance Fourth, where white people have been injected as the creators of everything and that they did everything.
I'm a hold firm. I believe bigotry is a tool of racism. It's a result of racism. The guys who sat down and said, we're about to control all the resources, they sat down and said, look, we're going to base it upon that these people are subhuman. We're going to create a science on it. We're going to get our scientists. We're going to get the Pope. We're going to get everybody involved in all the powers that be to start pushing this doctrine. And we're going to educate them like this, so that way they'll start teaching to their kids that these people are subhuman. Me personally, for the sake of humanity, I'm not saying it's right. For the sake of humanity, I have to believe that racism, and I'm not saying it's right, that racism birthed the little prejudiced racist bastard who's on West on 35th Street. What do they call that over there? That area we're not welcome.
Bridgeport.
Yeah. Yes. But hey, that's the question. That's the ultimate question. I'm glad we're on different sides of the fence on this. And you cats in the comments, either in the live chat or if you're watching this video later, we want to hear from you guys. What came first? You can put a capital B for the bigotry or a capital R for the racists out there. It was a question I never heard posed. That's why I came up with this topic.
Yeah. Well, interesting topic.
Yeah. In other words, there's got to be a bigot one. You know what I mean? And I want to identify this son of a bitch. You know what I mean? I want to identify this SOB. All right. Is there anything about this topic that we haven't covered that you want to touch on, bro?
I don't think so. It's a lot of people with issues. All of us do, because we've all been indoctrinated to a high degree. So
Ace says racism came first. He said the class system begot racism, which begot the bigots, which was your initial position on it. So it's interesting. Thanks for that feedback, Ace. Yeah, I'd like to know. We're going to add that to our questions that we asked the guests. What came first, bigotry or racism? Get to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. So, solutions. I gave a solution: meditation, prayer, get your mind right out there. The solution would have to come from the bigots. But go ahead.
Well, the solution is revolution.
I like that. You need to coin that, copyright it, rhymes and everything. Like the way they stole my silence is violence and everything, stealing everything.
Facts.
Yeah, I like that. The solution is revolution. And that revolution is mind, body, spirit, which leads
government and all of above. Yeah.
Starts with the spirit, then the mind, then the body, and then revolution.
Government and everything. It's got to be a change. Has to. And all of them fall. So
yeah, well, we're a solution-based podcast. If you can, homeschool, or get private tutors, so that your progeny is not being programmed in a certain way that makes them employees, as Self calls it, which is just a modern day word for what?
Slave. I mean, it's the exact word for slave. I mean, employment.
It is.
Yes, slave.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. 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 Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. And when the music changes, so does the dance out there. Let's change the what?
Music.
Facts. Facts. So we can start dancing differently. All right. All right. So let's go ahead to the riddle of today. Two fathers out there, two baby daddies, and two sons are in a car. Yet there are only three people in that whip. How is this possible? Self-love, because nobody in the chat had the pride or the wherewithal.
Three generations: a grandfather, a father who's the son, and the son. So two sons and two fathers, three people.
He's 100% right. The literal answer is they are grandfather, father, and son. But yes, you're 100% right. I wouldn't have dinged you if you were a student in my class and I was trying to reprogram you from what your ancestors and your parents thought. I wouldn't have dinged you. You know what I mean? I would have talked to you about it though and told you I could have dinged you. You know what I mean? Treated you like a little slave, but I wouldn't have dinged you. All right. Well done, Brother Wordsmith. Well done. That was fantastic. All right. And then you guys, we got a great one coming up for you guys next week. We got my brother, Self-Love's brother too, coming to the plate. Evil Eric Nesbitt. Self-Love. That's a real estate attorney, commercial real estate broker, and development. That's what we got next week coming into the Self-Love Show.
That's what's up. Y'all better get ready and have your notebooks and take notes because it's going down next week.
And you better pay attention. And you better be paying attention. So yes, we're definitely honored to have this brother potentially join the Give Back gang. He knows the laws. We've done a series on Black realty out there. Everybody wants to talk about, well, do more shows on stuff in the bag. Do more shows on I can make money. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think they're asking Morpheus that, but it is what it is. All right. It is what it is. But it's a necessary evil. We are in a capitalist society, but it's great to have someone who actually knows the laws. And we're going to break down his life and touch on the More Growth and Development program as well.
No doubt.
Yeah. So make sure you guys tune in next week. As always, it's going to be live at 2 p.m. Windy City time. That's in the great city of Chicago, which is founded by a Black man, by the way. All righty. So, and then next week on Mouthpiece Included, that's where we discuss politics. It's always an open panel. We always encourage guys to pull up. But if you do pull up, what?
Don't forget your mouthpiece.
That's right. You better not forget to bring your mouthpiece.
You could get all wet.
You can get wet up out there. So we don't debate on this show, but that show, you'll eat crow. I'm the only person who's eaten crow so far, but you know what I mean? Somebody's going to eat crow today. Come on the show talking nonsense. I'm serious. I'm going to start kicking them off. If they eat crow and don't eat crow self on the show during that segment, I'm going to kick them out of the zone.
Hey, well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Some you're going to be kicking off because they don't ever eat crow.
They don't have the mental capacities. They don't have it in their heart to eat what?
Crow.
That's right.
Put it in front of them. They like, no, I don't want that. And that's what you said. Oh, that's not what I said. Look at that. Just like, that's a different Adam and Eve.
Yeah. That's a different Adam and Eve. Yeah, you're probably right, though. You know what I mean? She was probably right. I mean, that would prove your assertion earlier when you said,
Yes.
you know, people evolve from different, you know.
Yeah, they were created. They, you know.
You had your Neanderthals out there, allegedly.
Yeah,
and
we
you
were
had your
created.
gods of
then-
the universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
We created them according to the Nation of Islam, Yaqub.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Their creation, yeah, they're not the same species.
Which is similar to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing saying, you know, it's an albino species out there. And we
No,
kick those
albinos are us, though. That's why I didn't agree with her.
Yeah, they still have that melanated gene.
They're not from albinos. They are something completely created.
I got
Albinos are still us. They just don't have any. They have the lack of the skin level melanin,
the pigmentation, but they
Yes.
got the melanin gene in them,
Yes.
so they could produce babies.
They got melanin. They got melanin.
They can
They're
produce
melanated.
babies as black as Ella.
Yes. They're
So two
melanated.
albinos can get together and potentially
Yes.
produce a baby that's as black as what's his name, Bobby Brown.
Yes. Just like two completely black people made a blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
Yeah, whatever. You better test that DNA.
It's
Somebody's out
albino.
there doing something.
No, it's their 100% their DNA.
Big ups to all the albinos.
They
out
can
there.
come from us. We can't come from them.
Yeah, big ups to all the albinos out there. You know, we used to put them on the short bus at Ray School. I'm like, you don't even know what's in this kid's heart. You don't know if this kid can process.
It was
Oh, they-
protective custody.
Yeah, we had some smart kids that used to go hard.
And
Taught
it's-
me a lot. They used to
it's
go hard on me.
It's protective custody for that part.
Yeah, when Ernest was talking about people talking about him nappy head, yeah, I had kids of every race, including the black ones, talking about my nappy head. Now they like my dreads. You know what I mean? Now they like the locks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so next week on Mouthpiece Included, that's right here at 11 a.m. Central, how joining the media booth destroys players' legacy. So that's what we got next week on Mouthpiece Included. And as always, as we end, the way we end every show, we're going to turn it over to this brother to your right, my left, for my personal favorite part of the whole shebang. And that's going to be Wordsmith's final words out there, out there, out there, out there, out there, out there.
Man. Bigotry or racism. All part of my realism. From day one, it's been a given. But what came first? The chicken or the egg? The vaccine or the plague? It's all a trip. Because you don't know. It's just a flip of the page of his story. Because his story is probably a lie. They lied about everything. And they'll hold it until they die. So I don't know if bigotry or racism is the vaccine or the plague. But I know many are diseased with their mind, body, and soul. What's fucked up is they the people that's in control. For me, I'm never gonna sell my soul. I'ma use my discernment to make sure my mind is pure. because we all got to decide on individual level. If you want to take your life and your soul to the next level, you want to go dimensions 4, 5, and 6, then you better handle the third with the best way and real quick. Flash. Because it's going to collapse. And these are just facts. Do you want to move with the planet or separate and get left behind? To do that, bigotry and racism have to be left out your mind. Otherwise, and stay and have your fill. But for me, I'm gonna build my ship out of my skill. I'm leaving. Best be believing. Peace out. Flash. You can have your bigotry and your racism. For me, it ain't no doubt. Words. Flash.
Well said, good brother. Well said. Is bigotry contagious?
Well, because it's taught and indoctrinated, and mainly how it's brought about during Theta, yes, it's taught, so it's contagious. If they keep, preaching it to their children.
100%, brother. 100%.
Do you think you are the one?
Honestly, I don't know.
I know.
You know what that means? It's Latin. It means know thyself.
Love yourself.
Yes, sir.
Bullets are boomerangs, G.
Stand your ground.
Murder is suicide.
Yeah, man. An eye for an eye.
Silence is violence.
See something, say something.
12. Woo! Slave theory. Greed plus ego over fear. That's slavery, G.
Facts. Charity plus humility times love is freedom.
Do not answer questions, man.
Absolutely question everything.
Hey, fear is cap. I'm jumping out of airplane. Fear is an illusion.
Vibrate love.
Forgiveness is the highest love vibration.
Do something charitable for a so-called enemy and end the beef.
Yeah, let's get down there to City Hall and take Mayor Burns, Larry Hoover, some Krispy Kremes and some coffee.
Hurt people for sure will hurt people.
Facts. Healthy people. Heal that people.
Free Chief Malik, Jeff Fort.
Free the old man. Free Larry Hoover.
Free all the guys.
Because prison is slavery.
Man, keep your eyes on Yeshua and walk on water.
100%. Move mountains.
Move mountains? Really?
Yeah, brother. All you need is a smidgen of faith, man. Faith in the mustard seed.
No doubt.
Thanks for your support. Like, share, subscribe. Know yourself. Love yourself. Make someone's life greater.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Being the one is just like being in love. No one can tell you you're in love, you just know it. Through and through, balls to bones.
Stop the blickies.
Life is for the living.